What's up, guys? Welcome back. We are drafting more Superflex. $5 entry, 20,000 or 10,000 in first place. 20 entries max. Superflex. One quarterback, one Superflex, two running backs, two wide receivers, traditional flex, tight end. So we were blessed with the top of the board here a couple of times, and now we are at the back of the board again. But I don't mind the 11th spot. We can look to stack two very decent quarterback options here, like Williams, Herbert, Prescott. Stack two of these. Should have plenty of opportunity to do so. And I think that's a good start from back here, is getting a double quarterback start. Okay, Allen, Gibbs, Jackson, probably Bijan, and chalk start here. Now Daniels and Burrow will probably go. You could put May in that argument. Yeah, May in there as well. In that range, and then we'll be looking for quarterback. So I don't know, but definitely by the time this video posts, but the red card, so everyone will know, will be probably after the game. I'm kind of ahead on drafts. The red card for Balogun was lifted. Now, I didn't hear any chattering or clamoring about there even being a review underway, and maybe I haven't been keeping up, but I feel like I've been keeping up. And all of a sudden, he's not suspended from tomorrow night's game. So, hooray. The United States. Let's go Balogun. Get in there. Never heard anything like this. Read all about it. Heard it happen to Ronaldo once too in a different tournament. Okay, cool. I guess now he's under probation for the next year. That sort of thing. Of these three guys, I'm super high and heavy on Caleb Williams this year. I'm actually going to start with Herbert here, and then I will take Williams or Prescott on the turnaround. If they go Williams and Prescott, then I have my decision, unfortunately. But they don't. So perfect. They go McCaffrey here. We are going to start with two of these QBs. I haven't had a start with double QB yet, and I think this is the area of the board to do it. Will we take Williams or Prescott? Well, I'm heavy on both of them. I think Williams' ceiling is maybe a little bit higher, a little more to play for. Yeah, we'll take Williams. Okay, so love the start of Herbert Williams. Here we're going to get insane positional value and potentially have the opportunity to grab a third QB. So we're in good shape there. Prescott goes right after Williams. So the 12 slot says, the heck with all of you drafting quarterbacks. I'm going to take McCaffrey and Jigba and get my positional value there. And then we double stack quarterback, but so far no one else has. And a few people probably will through this round, right? Daniels double stacks with Lawrence. I like our pairing better, Herbert and Williams. Mahomes goes to the chase player. Burrow is now on the board. And grabs Dart. Okay, cool. I like that pick. Drake May is probably looking at Genty or Brown. Yep, St. Brown. So you still have some great positional value in play. And this is the way these go, right? James Cook, Genty, CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, Barkley, still all on the board. Why? Well, all of these quarterbacks have gone. And if you're unfamiliar with Superflex, it does add a completely different complexion to the drafting environment and how you evaluate talent and scoring and so on and so forth. QBs obviously become prioritized. That's why I like these drafts. There is a different angle to them entirely. And there's a lot more ways to do this, right? There's three distinct ways to draft this. I've said this in other drafts. You have the robust quarterback start, the ignore the quarterback start, or just kind of try to grab the quarterback value as you go. And I think the quarterback value as you go is a little bit weaker this year than it's been in previous years. You wind up with just an okay quarterback room. There's nobody really late, like there's nobody really hidden. So that's kind of one thing I've seen this year, is that you kind of want to go in one direction or the other. I do think you want three QBs in this. I do understand this is a top-heavy, all the money in Week 17 tournament because it is a best ball tournament. So there is an argument when we go Herbert Williams, just saying, hey, for us to win this tournament, Herbert and Williams have to stay healthy and perform at or above their ADP projections. And if either of those things don't happen for either of them, this is not a winning team. So if that's the case, do we really need a third quarterback? Would be the argument. And I think the answer to that question is Depends on who we get. Like for example, I'm very high on Shug this year. If he makes it back to me, it'd be hard for me to ignore getting him as our third quarterback here. That being said, we could also double tap running back and just have an insane backfield with these two guys. Which would you like? Which do you want? There's also, I mean, look, you also have Drake London still on the board as well. So, and we could grab the Tua Penix combo later and just stack that in with a Drake London. So there's that. Hampton was my eye on the ball there. Mayfield and Shutter both great. Or sorry, yeah, maybe we get one of them on the turnaround. Of these three guys, I'm going to take Chase Brown. I'm going to start a backfield with Brown. I want to make sure I get him, and then we'll evaluate. Now, if they double tap quarterback Mayfield and Shud right here, that's fine. I was already okay with that. Oh, they don't. They take Darnold over Shud. Now we could take Achan. We could take Drake London. You know what? Let's go ahead and grab Achan. I think that's just a little too enticing to start off with Herbert, Williams, Brown, and Achan. I think this is a six start. We can grab another QB. But like I said earlier, we are betting that these two gentlemen stay healthy, both of them, and perform at or above their ADP or projection, both of them. And if one of those four things doesn't happen, Justin Herbert stay healthy, Caleb Williams stay healthy, Justin Herbert perform at or above ADP, Caleb Williams perform at or above ADP, this team doesn't win the tournament anyway. This is a best ball tournament. This is not a redraft league. So if that's the case, then drafting to the upside here and saying now, instead of having Chase Brown as like an anchor running back, we actually have a devastating running back core, arguably one of the best in the room, right? You've got Barkley Walker, you've got Robinson Cook. Like those, the Robinson Cook is a better backfield than Brown HN for sure. But they're only rocking with Purdy, and we have Herbert and Williams. Now, what's interesting is this room is actually a little bit less quarterback hungry than I've seen some of these rooms be. This is Underdog, and as opposed to some other sites, these rooms are very quarterback hungry. And so it's interesting, like some of the value could get pushed to us where we can get a completely serviceable QB3 here should we want them. But again, understanding that now the positional value is starting to come off the board, when we're looking at 59 and 62, we're going to have absolutely insane value at positional. We'll still be looking at Rashi Rice, Malik Neighbors, Chris Olave, Statibo, Mendoza, if we want to grab him, he'll be in there, Colston Loveland. And we did get Williams, so maybe grabbing a Loveland in here to go with Williams. Where's Loveland at? Loveland's at 64, so we might be able to get him here at 62. And then, I mean, just Javonte Williams and Josh Jacobs probably won't fall. They're pretty good assets, but we do have some running back stacks in here. So anyway, we're probably going to wind up with a really good set of positional players here, and draft to the upside of Herbert and Williams staying healthy. Again, I think you want a third quarterback, but if we're staring like Aaron Rodgers, Fernando Mendoza, Geno Smith, Brissett, Tua, Penix, if we're staring those guys in the face versus getting, a Cam Statibo and a Colston Loveland, sign me up for that. I mean, Malik Neighbors and Chris Olave also considerations. Had we gone Shud, right, we could absolutely look to pull up Olave and make sure we stack him in there. I'm okay with it. We may see McConkey back down here. I'd have to look at where that ADP is, but McConkey is at 74, and we will be at 83. So we'll probably miss him, but I'm not going to prioritize him over some of the names that are still on the board. I continue to be just entirely too high on Cam Statibo, and I guess that's just where I'm at. So I'm going to take him and just still be very, very high on him. And then I guess Loveland is for us. All of these wide receivers would be excellent to have as wide receiver ones, but I think with Williams, Loveland is for us, unless of course this gentleman takes him here at 12, which I think he would not. Okay, so he opts for Brissett. I think we take Colston Loveland. Be happy to grab him there. I like Devontae Smith. I like Malik Neighbors. I like Chris Olave. I like all of them, but I think with Williams that's just too enticing. And then we'll start smashing wide receiver through here, 83 through 107. So when it gets back to us for 83, this is what's crazy. We'll still be looking at Luther Burden. Potentially we can grab him and stack him. Devontae Adams, Jamison Williams, Jalen Waddle, Christian Watson, and Roma Dunze. And I will be getting two of these guys. We already have Brown, Achan, and Stadabo for our backfield. We have Herbert and Williams and Loveland, and I should be able to pick up two of this smattering of receiver, which again will be behind like a Chase and a Collins and a Brown and a Lamb and a Jefferson. But the Chase Collins player is just picking up their first running back versus our running back room. Yes, they've got a pretty decent QB stat, but I'll still take ours. And the Lamb Jefferson player only has Brees Hall and is going to be below the Juckins Bashal Tootin tier. Maybe Tootin falls to him, but is going to be below that tier for his second. So running back. So we definitely have running back and quarterback short up really nicely. In fact, arguably, I'd like Herbert and Williams over Allen Young. I think I liked our start better. And the only other team to copy, not copy, but take our same draft line with D'Angelo Lawrence is Barkley, Walker, Jacobs, Olave. We have Brown, Achan, Stadabo, and Loveland. I think these stacks are pretty equal, honestly. And I like our two quarterbacks better than these two quarterbacks. So, and we've got Loveland to boot. So I just, yeah, really happy with our position and how we've navigated the 11th spot here. And we're going to look to slam some wide receivers. If we want to keep an eye on the QB spot, you definitely have the option of taking like a Tua or Deshaun Watson, which are, I guess, the starters, right? But I don't know. I think it goes back to what I was saying with you're playing to the upside. If we really wanted at the very back end here, we can take. I saw a strategy somebody else did, and I liked it. At the very end, like 206, 27, 227, 230, we just take the backup QBs to the guys who get injured, right? Like take a Richardson to back up Daniel Jones, take like a Matt Jones to back up Purdy, whatever. Just take the backup guys. Thought it was pretty interesting. McConkey and Buka Evans are still on the board. So is Burden. So if it gets back to us and McConkey's still on the board, I'm actually going to take Ladd over Luther Burden. We already have Colston. I mean, Burden could be in. All right, so he goes there. I have a Buka above Burden. So if it gets here, I might take a Buka and then hope to wheel Burden. And if we don't, we get a Dunze. Or I could just grab the triple stack if it falls. Okay, Buka goes. So now I would take Burden. If Burden goes, we're definitely going to get a Dunze. So we get a double stack with Williams, which is cool. Evans goes. Do we take Burden and Odunze and just have that the entirety of that receiving core? I mean, it's so tempting. All right, let's take Burden and see what happens here. But that is so tempting to do. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's like very tempting. We just get all the touchdowns every week from that offense. I might do it. You guys have to let me know in the comments. Would you do this? It's doable. I mean, it's either Devontae Adams, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, or Roma Dunze. We could grab another running back, but I'm going to take Roma Dunze. So now we have the Bears minus DeAndre Swift. We have the Bears. We have Herbert, Williams, Brown, Achan, Stedabo, Loveland, Burden, Odunze. I mean, this is ridiculous. We have a Shadow Bears offense. So if they go off this year, this team could go off. Now we will look to grab a couple other running backs. You only start two wide receivers in this format. Yes, a wide receiver can go in your traditional flex, but you only start two. So with this lineup, we'll be back here at the 107, 110. We're kind of off QB now. Maybe, again, we can take some backups later. That's fine. But in our draft position, at 107, 110, we'll have our option of, uh, well, Penix could be sitting there, but basically, if Menundai falls, which I don't think he will, but that's a consideration, but I'm not super huge on him this year, but we'll be looking at somewhere from like J.K. Dobbins down through like Sam Laporte or Kyle Pitts, which we could, if Penix falls, we could grab Pitts and Penix. Something we could do. There's also like really good wide receivers down here that we could pull up. Sutton Reed, Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson is a little out of range. Where is he going right now? Quentin Johnson is going at 120, so we'd be pulling him up like 10 slots. I don't know that we need to do that, but he would be a nice stack with Herbert for sure. Um, and, I'd rather have him slide 10 slots than try to pull him up 10 slots. given that we're still going to have insane value. I actually don't mind pairing Kraft with Loveland if he was to make it back. I don't think I want Watson. Then again, we're just going to go to there. I don't think Tucker Kraft is going to fall all the way down here, but if he does, I don't mind pairing him up with Loveland and just being done at tight end. I don't think he will though. I think people know how good his upside is. So, but there's still some really good names in here. I am high on J.K. Dobbins this year. I've got plenty of Gainwell. I don't think I need any more Gainwell in these drafts. So again, if Kraft does fall, I'll absolutely snap him off here and then just take whoever at 110, whoever turns around. There's also Pitts in here, and I'm a little higher on Pitts than Porter or Fannin this year. Um, there's also Deshaun Watson, and we could just grab Harold Fannin and pull up Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson could fall. I don't think he's going to fall all the way to 131. Someone's going to want another one, right? We could do that, man. I'm not going to do that. I think if we were going to do something, we could go Penix and Kyle Pitts here, but see what happens. I think getting a J.K. Dobbins to go with this is a pretty smart maneuver. If we can, we'll take him. Yeah. All right, we get J.K. Dobbins. I like that pick a lot. And then we have our option. We could grab Pitts here if we really wanted to. I think we're probably not going to do that. Wide receiver wise, we could pull Quentin Johnson up. There's Sutton and Reed too. I'm high on both of them this year, but I'm pretty high on Quentin Johnson. It would be a reach, but we do need another wide receiver. From a tight end standpoint, we could grab Pitts. I don't have a ton of him, and I don't think he's a terrible pick this year. You know what? Let's pull Kyle Pitts off the board. I think that's pretty cool with Loveland, and now we're just done at tight end. These guys should do their job, and maybe occasionally one of them winds up in our flex, which we're fine with. Now we're way behind at wide receiver, but we're gonna fix that. To do that, maybe that was a consideration, but we're gonna fix that because we're just gonna hammer wide receiver through the way through now. 131 through 134 is like Pearsall, Jacoby Myers, Matthew Golden, Wandell Robinson, Dobbs, Concepcion, like that range of players. That's fine. And I don't think Quentin Johnson will fall, but Addison and Godwin and Worthy, all these guys seem to fall quite a bit. So if we're lucky, we get one of them back here. All right, so as we look out across the board, Burrow, Dart, Jackson Nix, and Jaden Daniels, Tyler Lawrence were the three double stack QBs that came out the gate. Um, Jaden Daniels, Trevor Lawrence drafter opts to do our strategy and really shore up their backfield, and then kind of get into their positional advantage. Also, has not taken another quarterback. Burrow and Dart did get Rodgers, but did also shore up their backfield. I mean, man, really did they? Genty, Love, Judkins, Price, Dowdle. They only have Parker Washington through 10 rounds, so there's that. And then Jackson and Nix here grabbed Henry Williams, got Stroud, so got offered for a third serviceable QB, grabbed two good running backs, and then filled in with positional advantage. Is now just grabbing their first tight end. So three approaches executed slightly differently, but in the same vein. You want quarterbacks, you want running backs. Make sure you get right. Like us in the three grab nothing but quarterbacks and running backs through five. Oh, yeah, and the five slot here. So the three, the five, and us at the 11 just didn't grab anything but quarterbacks and running backs. And the nine basically did that, but snuck in Bowers, which is arguably fine, right? He is for all intents and purposes, he is a running back. So the four did it as well. So yeah, a lot of that approach in here. And then you did have some folks opt to assemble an elite back a wide receiver room, which is an argument as well. Speaking of elite wide receiver room, we have some saving to do, and there is this Deshaun Watson Casey Concepcion pairing back here. But again, I think we're off that. Um, um, yeah, again, Herbert Williams, stay healthy, do the right thing. I think we get a couple of receivers here. Watson goes anyway. So I'm happy with Addison. I'm happy with Godwin. I'm happy with Downs. I'm happy with Pearsall. Happy with all these guys. Running back wise, we are on four. We probably need a few more. But I think I'm going to double tap wide receiver here and be happy with the room. Have some threats outside of the Chicago Bears. So Ferguson goes. Addison and Godwin. God, I think I'm way heavier on Addison. They're the same, right? You know what? Let's grab Addison. I think he's going to be a bigger piece of that offense, and then we'll grab one of these two on the way back through. Or Jacoby Myers, I suppose, is fine too. Although, not super high on Jacoby Myers. I don't think we need another tight end. After going Pitts, we're not taking Kincaid or Likely, but that's another consideration is that maybe we could have punted on one of these guys. So Tracy goes off the board. All right, we'll take Pearsall. A little higher on him than Jacoby Myers. Norway and Brazil just kicked off. I guess I'm rooting for Norway. I like Holland. I think he's awesome. So, all right. So our wide receiver room did come together. Obviously, we're betting a certain way here with Burden and Odunze, but we Addison and Pearsall. Both these guys can come to the table and be a wide receiver two on any given week for sure. Our backfield is sick with Brown, Achane, Stadabo, Dobbins, but now we want at least a couple more running backs. Herbert and Williams is where we're going to stake our claim, and potentially at the end, because we're not going to be in draft garbage tight endville like we normally are, we can just start snagging quarterback names, backup names to folks who we think have a likely to get injured. I also wouldn't mind another receiver, but I think that we definitely want to grab running backs in here because the value is still going to be good 155, 158. So let's go and look at that. And you've got lots of good names in here. Well, good. You you know what I mean. There's Charbonnet. There's Coleman. I've got a ton of Coleman this year. Dylan Sampson, Tank Bigsby, Sean Tucker. These are all fine names for this range. Absolutely fine. Um, to the point where Tucker is even down here ADP wise. So, and there's still some really good wide receiver names. And I'm just flagging guys I like. I don't think they're going to make it back, but um, some decent names in here. Hate drafting Jets players, though. Not a fan. I like Algier. I'm just getting stacks of Algier this year. I don't have any Isaiah Pacheco. I'm not likely to grab him. I don't know how he fits into that offense. Marks is fine too. I don't think Marks is going to make it back to us. We're at 155, but we'll see what happens through here. So we really did construct this team to the upside, going with Loveland and Pitts, Herbert and Williams, and then this backfield and this sort of wide receiver room. There's a very specific instance where this team is insane. Um, which okay, so hoping for that instance, right? This team would be just be. I mean, we basically have the Chicago Bears offense. No, we do have the Chicago Bears offense. We have an insane running back room. We have double elite QB and elite. These guys aren't S tier, but they're like A tier. And Holland is on the board. Oh no, it wasn't Holland. It's offsides. And okay, Norway's on the board. Holland did not start that. Excuse me, but it is ruled offsides. Okay, Cooper goes off the board here. We don't. I don't think we want to be looking at Kirk Cousins or back. Although we maybe could say Kirk Cousins has a chance to get meaningful games in this year, and he's one of the guys that we actually do want, depending on how Mendoza plays or that sort of stuff. Carson Beck also probably has the opportunity to see the field, but I think to a lesser degree. I like Juwan Johnson down here, but I think we're good on tight end where we're at, and I think some of this RB value is where we want to be. Okay, Algier goes off. So I guess we'll take Charbonnet. I've been getting way more Algier than Charbonnet, so I think that's probably the right maneuver here. So we'll take Charbonnet. And then there is Cousins and back. There's also Gatson, Spears. I actually don't. I think we're going to pull one of the running backs up. I've got a significant amount of Coleman this year. I don't have much Spears at all, but I'm just not high on Spears. Honestly, I know it's a reach, but I think I picked up Dylan Sampson. I think that he's going to have meaningful weeks. There's also Bigsby. Let's pull up Sampson. I've got a lot more of him though, and Bigsby, if Barkley goes down, Bigsby's gonna be a lead winner, but He's not going to make it back to us, but we'll just take Dylan Sampson. I think he's a more relevant player that is agnostic to the injury situation, whereas Bigsby is just banking on an injury, unfortunately, which we don't wish for anybody. Um, all right, Norway coming out strong. Norway coming out strong for sure. Interesting thing about these are 20 rounds instead of 18, so they do go a little bit longer and you do get a little bit deeper. But because the quarterbacks come off the board, you end in the same range. You just have more quarterbacks. Carson Beck goes there. Um, Daniels Lawrence did pick up Deshaun Watson. Are we the only two QB believer? No, the Allen player also did Allen Young and just opted to build out his team normally, which that is a way you can go when you have Josh Allen and just know that he's just that much of a piece. I think we are the only ones who rocked two. Nope, Purdy Ward did as well and just drafted a bucket of wide receivers. And as Robinson, Cook, ETN, Purdy Ward, and then just never stopped on wide receiver and is now picking up tight end. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So they opted to go the same route, and we just basically did the same thing, but with Herbert and Williams. Got our backfield together, and then yeah, his backfield's better than mine with Robinson and Cook, but our quarterbacks are better than his. So that was the trade off, but equal stacks, so to speak. I just like Herbert and Williams so much more than I like Purdy and Ward here. Even though his backfield is insane with Robinson, Cook, and ETN to a lesser degree, our backfield is also very good. Maybe not the same very good, but our quarterbacks are that much better. So I think the same thing here. I think our backfields are similar. Mine's better, and I like our quarterbacks better. So better starts here. Okay, as it comes back to us now, we'll be looking at 179. Bigsby, if he falls to us, I will rip him off the board, and then we'll. What are the quarterbacks looking like? Jones, Justin Field, Nick Richardson, Winston. Yeah. All right, we are on the clock. Take Sean Tucker, absolutely, and then wide receiver. We probably need another one here. I'll grab one of these guys. I think I'm starting to catch up on my. I have a fair amount of both of them. I'm just higher on them. Although we do have Justin Herbert, so I guess maybe we take Trey Harris. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Get a stack. They're all the same guy down there, and I've had a fair amount of McMillan and Juwan Jennings, which I think they're fine at their ADP. But we'll take Trey Harris. I don't have a ton of him, and we got Herbert, so we might as well grab a little back stack here. Addison Pierce all unstacked. That's okay because we have the Chicago Bears Apex stack here. I honestly don't think you'd want Swift too. I think picking up all of Caleb Williams' receiving threats, picking up his entire receiving room, just ensures that you get every touchdown he throws, basically, with the exception of a few potentially to Swift this year. I'm an guy. All his touchdowns, we're going to capitalize two times on both of them. I really like that. Having Pitts wind up in our flex maybe three times over the season or two times over the season would be all I need him to do. We just need two of these folks to come to the table. And then between Stadabo, Dobbins, Addison, Pearsall, Charbonnet, Sampson, Tucker, and Harris, one of them to perform well enough to get into our flex, which I think we're going to see Stadabo commonly in our flex. Um, so yeah, so I feel pretty good about this. I'm hoping that if this team wins the money, our Chicago receivers have to be starting every week. So that's just kind of what it is, right? This is the money winning team. So I think we do need a few more wide receivers. We're at five. We probably should be at seven, and we'll just be 2-2, right? I think that makes sense. That would still give us. That would actually give us two more draft spots. So we can grab a couple of janky QBs at the back end. I'm totally cool with that. We're at 203, 206 here. I guess I need a little more Katron Allen, maybe in my mix if he makes it back to us. Malik Washington is fine down here. Marshawn Lloyd's fine down here. I don't know that we need to go up to 8 running backs though, but it's fine. Dontavian Wicks is fine down here. These are all fine names. They will all do the trick. Jerry Judy, if he makes it, I'm okay with any of these guys. As far as We could grab Alani. We do have Charbonnet, and the only piece we'd be missing is Jadarian Price. It's interesting. And we get two-thirds of a backfield that I just don't see Alani playing, right? I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. Quarterback wise, if we wanted to play that silly game, um, what if Matt Jones, just in case. I like Justin Fields, just in case. Like Anthony Rich. No, I don't really like Anthony Richardson. What I'm talking about. I don't know about. I mean, I don't know if is Flacco coming back. I mean, I guess he is. Um, suppose Flacco's okay. If we do that, I'd say what we do is we grab. We have four more draft slots. I think we definitely want one more, if not two more receivers, and then I guess we could grab two QBs at the end. Just grab any of those two that are just literal Hail Mary backups. But again, if one of our guys get injured or underperforms, our backups are not going to save this team to win the money. So Malik Washington is fine. I don't have a ton of him, so we'll grab him over Dontavian Wicks. I have more Dontavian Wicks. Just I think Philadelphia is a better offense, so I just it made sense. Yeah, actually, I think just that's then this is what I keep coming to. Is they're just that much of a better offense. So now we have six receivers. I think we can pick up one more. I don't think. I mean, we could take Alani here, but then we'd be sitting on eight running backs. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Well, then we could grab another wide receiver and just grab a late round um, quarterback instead of two. I'd be okay with that. All right. Happy with it. Eight may be too many, but it's fine. Washington will make it back. So what we'll do with our last two picks is grab a Hail Mary quarterback and a wide receiver. And the wide receiver, any priority here? I don't think so. Here at the end, I don't think there's any like sneaky backstat targets for either of our folks. Uh, but we'll grab, I don't know, Troy Franklin, Torrey Horton, one of these guys. Doesn't matter. Thornton, Darnell Mooney's fine. Surratt's fine. Hurst is fine. I don't even know who's going to make it back, but we'll just flat all these folks. And then I keep saying Tyreek Hill. If he plays, you got to imagine he'll put up some points, right? I don't know. But we definitely need to get a wide receiver here. And then what quarterback would we want? Crazy quarterback. Maybe Matt Jones. He was a meaningful backup last year. Or Justin Fields, just in case. Yeah, I'd say that, or maybe Flacco. Like these are probably the three you want, or maybe Mariota. These are probably the guys you want. I'm not sure. Week wise, a couple of guys on 10, obviously. Three guys on 10. Okay, so that week we'd only have selection of this. Yes, it would take Troy Franklin out of the mix then. I don't want another guy on 10. I want to give me another receiving option that week. All right, so we're taking Alani. Now we have Charbonnet and Alani, and we do what we don't have Jadarian Price, but we have two-thirds of the backfield that is going to be on a pretty balanced attack team. Um, right. So we have the Chicago Bears with the Seattle's running back room. Herbert stacked with a Trey Harris late. We have Loveland and Pitts, Loveland, Burton, and Odunze stacked with Williams, Brown, Achan, Stadabo, Dobbins, Charbonnet, Sampson, Tucker, and Helani. I think we're great in the running back room. So just some of these guys will step up. So I actually love this team. Okay, just doing this, and again, we'll just grab one Hail Mary quarterback down here. I'm okay with any of these wide receivers, and even Cooper Cup. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Pat Bryant, I suppose. Oh, he's a 10. I don't want 10. I do not want bye week 10 for this wide receiver. Yeah, and I guess Matt Jones, when he was in for Purdy, was freaking phenomenal. So it's just like, which one of these guys is most likely to get injured? I hate to say that, but that's kind of what this is right now. Um, just using recent history, Burrow is. We'll take Troy Thornton. Okay. So yes, you want Flacco, but he's older now. And then Jaden Daniels. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Matt Jones down here. The only other thing again is we can bet to the upside and take one of these receivers. You know, I mean, maybe that's just what we do. Like that quarterback's gonna do us no good, so just bet to the upside of these two guys. Do we do that? I mean, I feel like that's the right move. Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's go with. Actually, let's go with P Ryan. Yeah, that'll give us all of the backfield basically for um, Cincinnati too. So we this is a crazy build. We wound up with nine running backs. I'm not sure that's right. We probably wanted a third quarterback in there somewhere, and so I don't think I wanted to pass on these guys. But that's the thing. Once I did and decided I was taking Loveland, that's pretty much it, right? That was once I decided I was taking Loveland. Like, there's nobody left. Eugeno Smith, Tua, and I just don't think it made sense. Back Watson, Sanders, maybe Penix is some weird backstacking you do. I don't know. I'm happy with how our team ended up. We've got Herbert and Williams. We're betting the season on them. We're also betting the season on the Chicago Browns with this team. We've got Chase Brown, Devon A. Chan, Stedabo, Dobbins, Charbonnet, Sampson, Tucker, Holani, and P. Ryan. These guys will be in our flex some weeks for sure. Burden, Odunze, Addison, Pearsall, Trey Harris, Dontavian Wicks, Troy Horton for our wide receiver room. Again, if this team is to do anything, Luther Burden and Rome Odunze will be in our lineup every week. And then we've got Colston Loveland and Kyle Pitts. And this is Chicago Bears, basically. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. I'm going to jump into another one of these, so I'll see you in the next one. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. All right, see you soon.